Hello, everyone. It's so nice to have you here. I will start just with an apology. I really try to be on time. I try to get to places, a few minutes ahead of time to make sure no one is getting anxious or nervous. But sometimes in these roles, we don't get to control our days as much as we would like, which I'm sure is something that all of our esteemed guests can attest to as well. They've had very, very prestigious and really amazing careers, and we're so entirely thrilled that you are here today. I know that last year's event was such a terrific opportunity to learn from these and other wonderful judges and justices in their home countries, and this is another opportunity for that. And thank you to our students who are here, because having the opportunity to learn from judges and justices, particularly people who are path-breaking in their countries, is both inspirational and also just a really wonderful source of fortitude and guidance for you as you think about how to chart your own careers. And so thank you so much for coming. And as a practical matter, I have absolute confidence that your conversations today were as substantive and rich and useful in the cross-pollination of ideas as they were last year. And so thank you to Professor Susan Williams, who has organized this event for 2 years running. Thank you to Sesame and Professor Istrabadi for the assistance with this event. Thank you, obviously, also to the Hamilton Lugar School that has helped to underwrite this event. And we are absolutely thrilled to be able to host you. Oh, my apologies. Also to African Studies, yes. Also, and the Center for Global Change. These kinds of events really are best when they are coordinated across units on campus, and we're just so grateful for the partnership with those other units. And we also do what we can to reach out to them. Oh my goodness! I didn't even know the Middle Eastern Law Students Association. Office of the Vice President for International Affairs, the Center for the Study of Global Change, probably, did I say that one? Just to be clear, right, these events happen best when they are in coordination with other units on campus, and we try to coordinate as much as we can with others as well. And so, we're really thrilled to have you here, and thrilled to be able to be the primary host. So welcome. What I'd like to do for those of you who weren't in the meetings earlier today is just give you a brief introduction so that you can get a sense of just the amazing experience that we've got with us here in the room today. And I'm just going to read from the brief bios that we have for each of the participants so that you can really get a good sense. So Judge Maisa Baidoun is from Jordan, and she has been a member of the Constitutional Court of Jordan since June of 2022. She's a professor of international law at the School of Law at the University of Jordan. Before that, she taught at Al Bayat University, where she served as the dean of the law school from 2013 to 2020. She knows well, sometimes you don't control your days. Judge Baidoun has served on various governmental and royal committees in Jordan, including most recently the Royal Committee to Modernize the Political System and the Royal Secondary Committee for Constitutional Amendments. From 2020 to 2022, she was a member of the Higher Education Council at the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. Judge Baidoun has published extensively on international and comparative law, and she holds a law degree from the University of Jordan, an MA in international law from Al Bayat University, and a PhD in international law from Leicester University in the UK. Next, we have Judge Abnetta Al-Khalas. If I mispronounce your name, I welcome you to correct me. I apologize if I mispronounce your names. She's from Mauritania. She's been a member of the Constitutional Council since 2018. She is a professor at the École Normale Supérieure de Nouakchott. Judge Al-Khalas worked from 2006 to 2010 at the Mauritanian presidency in various senior capacities and has directed the country's Institute for Scientific Research from 2012 to 2018. Judge Awa Tandia is also from Mauritania and has been a member of the Constitutional Council since 2021. Judge Tandia has worked extensively in the government, most recently as the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Civil Society from 2016 to 2018. and she was Secretary of General of the Cabinet from 2014 to 2016. She was also a member of the Association of Female Jurists of Mauritania. We really welcome all of you. Judge Latifa El-Khal is from Morocco, and she has served in the Constitutional Court of Morocco since March 2020. Judge El-Khal's long judicial career started in 1983. Before joining the Constitutional Court, she served as president of the Administrative Court of Appeals in Marrakesh, to which she was appointed in 2011. In 2018, she published a monograph on the responsibilities of states for reparations regarding acts of terrorism. Judge Amina Al-Massaoudi, is that correct? Massaoudi? Massaoudi is from Morocco, and she was appointed to the Constitutional Court of Morocco in 2023. She holds a doctorate in law from Mohammed V University at the Faculty of Legal, Economic, and Social Studies, Rabat, Agdal, and is a higher education professor at the same faculty. A constitutional expert, she has participated in the writing of both the Iraqi and the Yemeni constitutions. Those are from 2005 to 2006 and then 2013 to 2014, respectively. She's authored many books, articles, and research on political and constitutional life in Morocco, as well as comparative constitutional law in Arabic, French, and Spanish. She has participated in many conferences and seminars, both locally and internationally. She has been a member of the National Human Rights Council since 2019, and she's a former member of both the Advisory Committee for Constitutional Review and the Advisory Committee on Regionalization. Judge Muriel Najm from Lebanon has been a member of the Constitutional Council of Lebanon since November 2021. She also teaches constitutional law at the Faculty of Law of the St. Joseph University in Beirut. Prior to her current role, she worked for 3 decades as a lawyer and as a legal editor at Le Commerce du Levant. Judge Najm holds a master's degree in law and a degree in political and administrative science from the St. Joseph's University in Beirut and a master's 2 degree in public law from the Lebanese University. Judge Najm has published extensively in the areas of constitutional and electoral law, and she is currently preparing her thesis in constitutional law at Paris 1 Parthéon Sorbonne in France, focusing on the principles and objectives of constitutional value under Lebanese law. I am sure that you can see why being in this room is just being, really in the presence and the company of greatness. And we are so grateful for the ways you've broken paths and can't wait to learn from you during this discussion. I actually wondered if we could start just briefly. I have a question for Professor Susan Williams. If you could just give us just a very brief window into how it is that you have been able to bring these wonderful people together into a room here at the Maurer School of Law. Yes, please.
So the Center for Constitutional Democracy at the Maurer School has worked with the Constitutional Court of Jordan for over 5 years now, running programs for them in Amman and also here. And in the last couple of years, we have partnered with the Center for the Study of the Middle East to run programs both for that court and for other courts in the Middle East. And as part of that experience, we realized that in the last 10 or 15 years, there have been a growing number of women on these courts. Before that period, there were few, if any. And so we thought it would be important to give those judges a chance to actually really more talk to each other than to us, to have the opportunity to share their experiences and to sort of figure out what's worked where and why and what might be worth trying in their different settings. And so we brought them together last year. Last year we had 4 judges. This year we have 6. Next year we're hoping for 8. And this group represents over half of all of the female judges on constitutional or highest courts in the MENA region. So we're really thrilled and excited that, in a sense, really what I want to say is that they are allowing us to sit in the room while we have these conversations and hear about their experiences.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What's amazing is that this is just one of the many incredible projects that the Center on Constitutional Democracy has going at any one time. And so we're just delighted by the center and again, by your presence here. So my task today is to ask questions of our esteemed guests so that we can learn from them, they can learn from each other, and so that our students can learn from them as well. And so where the day today has really been filled with much more substantive talk about the practice of being a judge especially a female judge in the countries where each of our guests originate, this conversation is more sort of a reflective conversation about what it means to them to be in their positions or the lessons they have learned as a result of being in their positions. And so I'm going to start by asking Judge Najm and Judge Al-Khalas the first question, which is, and just so that you know, they have expressed their interest in the questions. We're trying to streamline a bit so we can get through them all. So I'm asking each question of two of you, and we'll move through fairly quickly. So for the first question, for Judge Najm and Judge Al-Khalas, what are the experiences you had before becoming a judge that have most shaped your approach to your role on the court?
Translate.
Oh, yes, of course.
So first question to Judge sorry. السؤال الأول للقاضية نجم والقاضية الخالص، ما هي التجارب التي مررت بها قبل أن تصبحي قاضية والتي أثرت بشكل كبير على نهجك ودورك في المحكمة؟
Do I start? Okay. So, does it work? It's okay. Okay. Thank you, Dean Ochoa, for your introduction and for receiving us also. We are very happy to be here. Thank you, everybody, and especially the student. I appreciate a lot your presence here. I would first like to explain the somewhat unusual context in which I grew up in Lebanon. I was 7 years old when the war in Lebanon broke out. And I grew up in this climate of, war and chaos, we can say chaos, and a disintegrating state. During this time, the state had disintegrated and the militia logic was prevailing in Lebanon. In contrast, in my family, both my parents are lawyers, and we were raised in, they were very attached to values like, justice, equality, and as lawyers, they were really, they always stuck to these values. And they instilled in me these values. My studies in law also reinforced this, strengthened my attachment. Sorry, I read a bit because my English is not so fluent, to justice and to freedoms in all their forms. I think that all these values influenced me and influenced my approach also to my role as a constitutional judge. So I'm really attached to protect and preserve freedoms in my country and the individual rights, notably the rights of the weakest.
Thank you so much.
قاضية الخالص، ما هي التجارب التي مررت بها قبل أن تصبحي قاضية والتي أثرت بشكل كبير على نهجك ودورك في المحكمة؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشكر المحاضرة على تقديم متميز، أشكر الحضور الكريم. I speak Arabic. شو السؤال؟ السؤال
Can you hear?
Yeah. It's for Judge الخالص.
السؤال: ما هي التجارب التي ما هي التجارب التي مررت بها قبل أن أصبح بهذا المجال؟
لا
Yes.
قبل أن أصبح قاضية.
طبعا.
أحمد، المرجو منك ممكن إعادة السؤال من فضلك.
ما هي التجارب التي مررت بها قبل أن تصبحي قاضية والتي أثرت بشكل كبير على نهجك في دورك المحكمة؟
نعم.
ماشي.
أنا بعد حصولي على الإجازة سنة 1980 خضعت إجباريا للخدمة المدنية لمدة 2 وكان لابد أن أقضي هذه الخدمة المدنية بمحكمة الاستئناف بالرباط.
After I received my license in 1980, I had to spend some time as part of my mandatory civil service, and I spent it working for the Court of Appeal in Rabat.
هنا تعرفت على مجموعة من القاضيات بهذه المحكمة وكنت أساعدهم في تحرير الوقائع.
There I got to know a couple of judges in the court, and I helped them authoring and editing the documents they worked on.
فكنت منبهرة بالبدلة التي تلبسها هذه القاضية وبترأسها للجلسة والبت في الملفات والدراسة ومداولتها مع زملائها ثم النطق بأحكامها. كنت منبهرة بهذا العمل الذي تقوم به هذه القاضية.
I was fascinated by the judicial robe and the way the judges presided over the court and how they interacted with each other.
هنا أحببت القضاء وتقدمت بترشيح ثم نجحت ومررت 2 بالمعهد العالي للقضاء وبعد ذلك تخرجت ومارست القضاء كنائبة لوكيل الملك.
This was where I loved the judiciary, and I applied. I sent an application, and then I was accepted to be a judge as a vice president of a court.
تأثرت كثيرا بعمل القاضية وبكونها لا يتحكم فيها أي أحد إلا القانون وضميرها.
I was inspired by the fact that as part of my job, you're not allowed to be influenced by all externalities. It's only your conscious and your understanding of the law.
والسلام. شكرا.
Thank you so much. That's terrific. Moving to the next question, and this judge is for Judge Al-Khal and Judge Baidoun.
This was
It's
Judge
Al-Khal, not
Al-Khal, so
Al-Khalis.
maybe if you-
So let's stay with the first question for Judge Al-Khalis. Yes? Okay, thank you. What are the experiences you had before becoming a judge that have most shaped your approach to your role on the court?
ما هي التجارب التي مررت بها قبل؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشكر المحاضرة على التقديم وأشكر الطلاب الموجودين معنا وأشكر الحضور الكريم. مررت بالعديد من التجارب من بينها تجارب خلال الدراسات الجامعية. مررت بتجارب في مجال العمل الإداري من بينها إدارة بعض المؤسسات العمومية التي تحتاج مثلا معرفة القوانين التي تدير هذه المؤسسات والتعامل معها وحقوق الموظفين، وهذا ما جعلني أدخل من باب آخر إلى هذا المجال القانوني. بعدها عملت كمديرة ديوان رئيس الجمهورية، وهذا أيضا جعلني أتلقى الكثير من الملفات المتعلقة بكثير من المجالات المختلفة. بعدها عملت مستشارة أيضا برئاسة الجمهورية، كنت مكلفة ببعض القطاعات وتصلنا مثلا الملفات المتعلقة بالقوانين والملفات المعروضة على العدل والملفات المعروضة على المحاكم، قبل أن أعين كاتبة ضبط المجلس الدستوري الموريتاني، وهي الوظيفة التي شغلتها من 2019 وحتى يومنا هذا. مهتمة كثيرا بقضايا المرأة من خلال العمل في التجارب الميداني في المجتمع المدني وفي السياسة وحتى في الإدارة. هذه تجربتي في هذا المجال. أشكرك.
Most of my interest came during college, also during the work experience, which was rather different. I came from a public administration background. I worked most recently there I dealt with many issues related to the judicial affairs and other things. I was appointed in 2019 as the Secretary General of the court in Mauritania. I continue to work on women rights and capacity, laws, and other issues that for the court.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's terrific. Okay, so then Judge Al-Khad has answered the second question. The second question is to please tell us of one of the decisions by the court, by your court, that you've participated in and that you're most proud of. And so that's the question that Judge Al-Khad no, did not respond to. Okay, did not fully respond to. Okay, so we're going to ask that question of Judge Al-Khad. Yes.
سؤال موجه لمن؟
ولكن القرار أصدرته كقاضية في القضاء الإداري وليس القضاء الدستوري. يتعلق بتعويض ضحايا الإرهاب الذي حصل بالمغرب بفندق أطلس أسني. تقدم الضحايا بطلب تعويض لتغطية الأضرار التي أصيب بها، فحكمت لهم بتعويض على أساس التضامن ونجب الإرهاب. هذا الحكم تم تأييده من طرف أعلى درجة التقاضي وكذلك تم تنفيذه، وحصل المتضررون على تعويض لتغطية جميع أضرارهم المادية والمعنوية.
And Judge Baidoun, would you like to tell us about an opinion that you had a role to play in that was particularly impactful and that you're particularly proud of?
سوري سيد أجي. شكرا جزيلا على هذا اللقاء القيم. طبعا هو كثير من القضايا اللي شاركت فيها في المحكمة خلال سنتين، 12 قرار يعني أصدرت أثناء وجودي بالمحكمة، لكن يوجد بعض القرارات التي أفتخر بها، وهو القرار الأخير اللي قبل الأخير ورقمه 6 لسنة 2024، والذي أبطل نص في قانون الزراعة، وهو نص قديم نوعا ما، إلا أن المحكمة الدستورية تعرضت للنص المطعون بعدم دستوريته عندما كان النص يستحدث قضاء موازي عندما كان هذا النص يستحدث قضاء موازيا للقضاء الأصيل. فالمحكمة تطرقت لهذا المسألة وقالت بأن حق الفرد الطبيعي أن يلجأ إلى قاضيه الطبيعي، والقاضي الطبيعي هو المتمثل بحق التقاضي ودرجات ضمانات المحاكمة العادلة. وبالتالي المحكمة الدستورية أبطلت هذا القرار الذي يعطي الحاكم الإداري ولجان ذات طبيعة إدارية بالإصدار الحكم في موضوع معين حسب القانون الزراعة. شكرا.
Court system or trial system, we rejected on the basis of every individual has
Terrific. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I, this question is for Judge Tandia. Is it? Am I
Yes.
Tandia? Yep. Judge Tandia is from Mauritania. Could you help us to understand some of the role models that helped you to realize that you could be a judge and that shaped your goals as a judge?
ترجمة حنيتي.
Quels sont les modèles? On a déjà admis la question. Les modèles qui vous ont poussé à devenir juge.
Merci. Je m'excuse, elle va me traduire. Donc, je sais pas. Tu vas essayer.
Je vais essayer.
Voilà. Donc, le modèle, c'est ma propre famille et mon environnement social.
My role model is my family first and my social role.
Ma famille, parce que je suis issue d'une famille d'intellectuels qui voulaient que ses enfants étudient. Donc, pour eux, le savoir, c'était très important.
I come from a family of intellectual people, and they were willing to have their children educated and, excusez-moi, et autre chose que
Étudier et
rentrer.
qu'ils soient dans l'activité, dans le travail.
et qu'ils
s'accomplissent.
and that they can accomplish themselves in working, not dans l'espace public, in the public space.
Bon, sociétalement, je suis issue de diverses communautés de la Mauritanie et qui sont confrontées à beaucoup de difficultés.
I come from diverse communities in Mauritania that are confronted to many difficulties.
Donc, ce qui a éveillé mon attention pour dire que le monde est soutenu par deux éléments, la politique et le droit.
And I was convinced that the world is ruled by two elements, two factors: justice, law and politics.
Voilà. Donc, sachant ça très tôt, j'ai commencé à m'investir dans l'activisme et dans la politique, parallèlement à mes études de droit.
I started very early, in parallel to my law studies, to act as an activist.
Dans la société civile et
in civil society,
et dans la politique, dans les partis politiques.
In political parties as well.
Donc, au fur et à mesure, j'ai avancé, j'ai eu mes diplômes, j'ai eu un diplôme de maîtrise en droit, et après j'ai fait un master en management du secteur public à l'ENA de Dakar. Et j'ai occupé plusieurs fonctions de directrice, conseillère juridique au niveau de divers départements avant d'intégrer le gouvernement. Et quand j'ai fini... D'accord, excuse-moi. Sorry. Madame. Doucement.
I obtained my law degree, and then Lena, it's a degree in administrative... École nationale, the National School of Administration in Dakar, in Senegal. And then she occupied several positions in the government, as she was a minister also many times. Je me trompe pas, n'est-ce pas? Vous étiez ministre à plusieurs reprises.
J'ai fait plusieurs postes ministériels. Et après ça, bon, avec mon background, je n'avais plus d'autres perspectives et voilà que le conseil était, disons, une perspective très intéressante parce qu'en fait, c'était l'accomplissement de toutes mes aspirations. Parce que là,
it was at the end the Constitutional Council represented for me The accomplishment, the last accomplishment, not last, I don't want to say last because it's I cannot find the word in English.
لا أدري بالشعر لا نترجم لك.
An accomplishment, let's say.
Voilà. Parce que là, c'est une vue d'ensemble du droit. Donc, vraiment, de tout ce parcours-là, arriver à ça, c'était d'avoir une vue d'ensemble. Et là, j'avais encore plus de perspectives pour aider les communautés, pour faire respecter et faire avancer le droit.
From the position as judge in a court, I had a global perspective of all branches of law, and I feel that I can help to make things go better, pour que les choses avancent.
Que les choses avancent. Voilà, sommairement résumé.
Thank you
Mon
so much.
expérience.
Thank you.
Merci.
I just want to take a moment to say how beautiful I think this event is, that we're stretching across languages in order to learn, in order to gain additional understanding, that we need multiple translators from multiple perspectives, that we have the grace to pardon terrible pronunciation and lack of understanding of each other's languages is just, there are moments like this that just sort of fill me with awe because they're just so beautiful. So thank you all actually for the patience and grace that you're exercising as we learn from each other here. I really, really appreciate it. It's really lovely. Thank you.
I found the word ultimate accomplishment.
That's wonderful. Okay, the next question is for Judge Masaoudi and Judge Al-Khalis. What are some of the most important achievements in your country in increasing the equality of women? And how do you think this goal may be pursued in the future?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dean, and all the students. I'm very happy to be here today. Unfortunately, I can't speak easily in English, so I would present the answer to this question in Arabic. أهم الإنجازات التي وردت في المغرب بخصوص الرفع من تمثيلية المرأة داخل المجتمع، أقصد مختلف المؤسسات. أهم هذه الإنجازات ضروري من القول بأن أول دستور مغربي بعد الاستقلال وهو دستور 1962 كان ينص على المساواة بين المرأة والرجل في الحقوق المدنية والسياسية. إذن هذا النص الدستوري كان موجود سنوات بعد استقلال المغرب. من الناحية كيف نلاحظ وجود المرأة في مختلف المؤسسات؟ نلاحظ بأنه رغم نص الدستور على مبدأ المساواة، المرأة ظلت غائبة في البرلمان، في الحكومة، على مستوى جهاز الشرطة. المرأة لم تكن ممثلة رغم أن الدستور نص على هذا المبدأ منذ سنة 1962. ماذا حدث؟ تطويرا وإيجابا مع مختلف التطلعات من طرف الأكاديميين، من طرف الباحثين، من طرف أطراف المجتمع المدني، تم تغيير نظام الاقتراع في المغرب، وتم الانتقال إلى إقرار مبدأ الكوتا الإيجابية بالنسبة للمرأة. فهذه الكوتا التي أحدثت لائحة وطنية في الانتخابات التشريعية أحدثت ارتفاعا ملحوظا في حضور المرأة داخل المؤسسات، فتغيرت نسبة المرأة داخل البرلمان مثلا من 2 في سنة 1993 إلى 60 امرأة بعد التصويت على الكوتا الإيجابية بالنسبة للمرأة. نفس الارتفاع لاحظناه على مستوى الحكومات. بعد أن كانت الحكومات تضم وزراء رجال فقط، أصبحت الحكومات تضم نساء أكثر من 14 امرأة، وهن نساء يتقلدن مناصب أو مرافق وزارية مهمة جدا، كمرفق الصحة، كمرفق الطاقة والمعادن، كمرفق التعليم، بمعنى أن المرأة لم تعد تكلف في الوزارة فقط بمشكلة المرأة والتضامن الاجتماعي ومن المشاكل الخاصة بالمرأة، وإنما أسندت لها مرافق حيوية على مستوى الوزارات. اليوم محطات مختلفة، محطة سنة 2002 الانتخابات التشريعية، بعدها محطة 2009 الانتخابات المحلية التي اعتمدت أيضا مبدأ الكوتا، ثم المحطة الأهم هي دستور سنة 2011، وهو الدستور المغربي الحالي الذي نص على مبدأ المساواة ليس فقط في فصوله وإنما في ديباجته أو المقدمة التي أصبحت تكتسي نفس القيمة الدستورية. تحدثنا عن هذا المساء، نفس القيمة الدستورية التي تكتسيها باقي الفصول الدستورية، فأصبحت المبادئ والحقوق ومنها مبدأ المساواة من المبادئ التي لا يمكن نهائيا إخضاعها للمراجعة الدستورية، وهذا مهم جدا، لأن الحقوق والحريات ومن بينها مبدأ المساواة لا يمكن أن يكون موضوع مراجعة دستورية، بمعنى أنه لا يمكن البس هذه الفصول أو المبادئ. مبدأ المساواة يعد من الكتلة الدستورية الرفيعة، بمعنى أنها من بين الفصول الدستورية التي لا يمكن مراجعتها. اليوم ماذا نلاحظ؟ المرأة توجد عميدات الكليات، لدينا أكثر من 5 عميدات للكليات، رئاسة الجامعة، المرأة وزيرة، المرأة داخل البرلمان، المرأة القاضية، المرأة الأستاذة الجامعية، المرأة في الشرطة، المرأة في ميدان العدلية، العدول يعني هؤلاء الرجلين أو الذين هي مهنة، رجلان يحضران عند إبرام اتفاق، عند إبرام عقد معين كعقد الزواج، عقد الطلاق، ضروري أن يكون رجلان. اليوم المرأة تمارس أيضا هذه الوظيفة. حضرت مؤخرا حفلة زفاف وكانوا العدول رجل وامرأة، بمعنى أن المرأة اليوم تحتل جميع المناصب التي كانت محتكرة في السابق من طرف المرأة. وأنا متأكدة اليوم أمام الصلاحية الجديدة التي منحت للمحكمة الدستورية، وهي الدفع بعدم دستورية القوانين، أن هذه الإيجابيات achievements will be increasing in the future. لن تتوقف هنا. فالآن هناك قانون تنظيمي يتعلق بالتعيين في المناصب السامية. هذا القانون التنظيمي من بين معاييره الأساسية الأخذ بعين الاعتبار عند التعيين مبدأ الكفاءة ومبدأ المساواة والفرص للجنسين معا. فأمام هذه الكوتا التي اتبعناها في الانتخابات التشريعية والمحلية وما زلنا نأخذ بها إلى حد الآن 395 عضو مثلا داخل مجلس النواب، 90 مخصصة للمرأة والشباب. فعدد النساء داخل البرلمان ارتفعت، عدد النساء في الوزارات ارتفعت أيضا. فالمرأة نلاحظها اليوم موجودة في كل وظيفة كانت محتكرة سابقا من طرف الرجال فقط. ولهذه التمثيلية طموح كبير في أن ترتقي إلى الأسمى بالنسبة للمستقبل. شكرا.
We'll see how that goes for our translator. Thank you. I can't wait to hear. It sounded amazing. Yeah.
محتكرة من طرف الرجال.
First constitution after the independence said there should be equality, civil and political rights, but this means women were absent in the parliament, in the government, and the possible across resources. We'd like to discuss the constitution being promulgated since 1960.
Now, the electoral system was changed in Morocco, and gender quota was introduced, and this has increased substantially the presence of women in the parliament. So we had 22 women in 1993, now there are 60 women in the parliament. Same in government, after having men-only cabinets, now we have 14 women holding cabinet positions. They're not only holding women positions inside the cabinet, like culture or women issues, they're holding important portfolios like health and education. The last step is the 2011 Constitution, which enshrined the principle of equality inside of the preamble. And this is very important from a constitutional adjudication perspective, since this cannot be amended or reviewed by any lower court. This is enshrined in the constitutional structure. Women now in Germany means that university professors, the police force,
Thank you. And Judge Alcalif.
شكرا. بالنسبة لموريتانيا عندها العديد من الجهود من أجل ترقية المرأة. من هذه الجهود مثلا التشريعات السياسات العامة. الدستور الموريتاني ينص على المساواة بين الجنسين بالحقوق وبالواجبات. المرأة كما الرجل عندها الحق في شغل الوظائف الإدارية والانتخابية والتشريعية إلى غير ذلك. أيضا تم مؤخرا تعديلات قانونية على تحسين حقوق المرأة خاصة فيما يتعلق بالزواج والطلاق والحضانة وغيرها. عندنا مثلا نظام الكوتا اللي من خلاله سن قانون تمييز إيجابي للمرأة حتى نتمكن من ولوج أكبر كم من النساء للجمعية الوطنية أو البرلمان. عندنا مثلا تمكين في مجال الاقتصاد فيه مشاريع مدرة الدخل، مشاريع صغيرة، مشاريع وجهت مباشرة للنساء من أجل الرفع من مستواهن الاقتصادي. فمثلا التعاون مع شركاء دوليين في مجال منظمات دولية مثل البنك الدولي وبرنامج الأمم المتحدة للنماء وغيره، تهدف تمكين المرأة اقتصاديا ودعم مشاركتها الاقتصادية في التنمية الاقتصادية للبلد. في مجال التعليم مثلا فما زيادة نسبة التحاق الفتيات، فم سياسة موجهة لالتحاق الفتيات بالتعليم مباشرة، وأيضا العمل على الحد من ما يسمى بالتسرب المدرسي لا ديبيرديسيون سكولار، العمل على الحد منها، وآتت أكلها مؤخرا لأن عاد في كم كبير من البنات في مجال التعليم، ونحد أيضا من ما يسمى بالتسرب المدرسي. في مجال الصحة في الرعاية الصحة فم رعاية صحية خاصة موجهة للنساء، خاصة النساء في سن الإنجاب. فم التوعية بالمخاطر مثلا اللي تتضرر منها المرأة، هذا في مجال الاجتماع. ثم سياسات واستراتيجيات وقوانين موجهة لمكافحة العنف ضد المرأة، سواء كان العنف مثلا تم إقرار قانون جديد لمكافحة العنف ضد النساء يشمل العنف الجسدي والجنسي والنفسي، غير كله أصبح عنده قوانين تحمي المرأة من هذا الشكل. وفم أيضا حملات التوعية اللي يقام بها من أجل مناهضة العنف ضد المرأة والمشاركة في الحياة العامة والمجتمع المدني. هناك منظمات نسوية ناشطة أيضا تهتم بقضايا المرأة وتطرحها للهيئات المعنية. تبقى هناك دائما تحديات كبيرة تواجه تقدم المرأة في البلد. هناك إرادة سياسية جادة بالرفع من مستوى المرأة وإشراكها، ولكن تبقى هناك تحديات تتطلب جهود أخرى.
Constitutions clearly said enshrine gender equality for both men and women recommendations. Many amendments and legal amendments have been introduced lately to reform marriage, custody, and divorce. There's also a quota system, a positive discrimination, to allow women to enter the parliament. We also have economic empowerment and financial support schemes for SMEs that are targeting women to work with our international partners that the World Bank with our economic and financial inclusion. In the implementation, for example, we have a public policy priority focusing on increasing the employment and retention of women. This was proved quite successful. In health as well, we have particular program and strategies directed against a new law directed against women health. A new law has also been promulgated against violence against women done psychologically, mentally, and physically. We have increased participation of women in public life. Challenges remain, but there's also a serious political work.
So interesting. Thank you so much. The next question I ask, it's sort of standing here thinking about, for example, that Professor Williams was a clerk to only the second ever female Supreme Court justice in the United States. And since then, certainly in your lifetimes, you've seen a series of women be appointed to the Supreme Court. And so the experience that Professor Williams and I have with the emergence or the presence of women on the court is quite different than the present or the experience of those of you who are a generation younger than us. And as I'm sitting here, I'm struck by the really just how path-breaking the judges in front of us are. It is really is just awe-inspiring and breathtaking. And so the next question, I think, is a very interesting one, particularly for an audience where we now have a justice on the court who was appointed for reasons that would have appointed for many reasons, but one of the reasons was certainly her position on rights that many women in this country believe are fundamental to their well-being. And just a generation ago, we might not have thought that there would have been that alignment of gender with a position on abortion that is as controversial as that one is. So the next question, obviously these are different issues in your countries, but the question that's next is for Judge Najim and for Judge Awatandia. Do you think it is important to have women on the Constitutional Court? And if so, why?
Effectivement, je suis pour la présence de la femme dans les cours constitutionnels, pour la simple raison que la représentation des femmes dans ce système judiciaire a de nombreuses raisons. En plus de garantir le système juridique, de le développer, en tenant compte de l'ensemble des composantes de la société.
So I am surely with the presence of women in the constitutional courts because it has many advantages. The first advantage is
garantir le développement du système judiciaire en tenant compte de l'ensemble de la société, les hommes et les femmes.
The first reason is the guarantee of the whole system, legal system, and the rights of women and men.
L'ensemble de la société.
As a whole, as a society.
Et ceci aussi constituera une source d'inspiration pour la génération future, les futures femmes, de devenir des femmes.
It shall inspire in the future other women to enter also the courts and maybe the constitutional council.
Et ceci aussi constitue une grande responsabilité des institutions. La présence des femmes va renforcer la respectabilité et la responsabilité des institutions.
It will also enhances the credibility and the respect for the institution, the Constitutional Council in Mauritania.
Elle apporte des perspectives et des expériences différentes que les autres.
It shall bring different perspectives and different opinions to the court.
Parce qu'elles ont une vue, pas de strict droit, mais de mère, de sœur, de responsable. Donc, les décisions qu'elles prennent, elles le prennent de manière pesée et vraiment responsable.
Women do not only rule by law, but also with their heart as mothers, sisters, and their ruling will be always balanced by all these considerations.
De ce fait, leur présence apporte des réponses à certaines thématiques et certaines problématiques. La résolution de certaines problématiques. La présence des femmes change la vue qu'on a de certaines problématiques.
Certain issues will be resolved differently from the perspective of a woman. And she will bring other maybe responses, d'autres réponses.
D'autres réponses plus adaptées aux situations.
More adapted.
Parce que, désolée, ils ont compris. Parce que si nous prenons par exemple, le problème de la corruption, par exemple, le problème de la corruption pour les femmes, elles ont une autre vue et elles sont moins corruptibles que les hommes. Donc la réponse qu'elles apportent est plus large et plus acceptable que la réflexion des hommes par rapport à ces thématiques-là.
So women are less subject to corruption, and they will also be more strict with the issues related to corruption.
C'est pour cela qu'on est sur la sensibilisation de nos États pour qu'il y ait plus de femmes. Parce qu'en Mauritanie, sur 302 juges, il n'y a que 4 femmes. Donc le chemin est long encore.
In the ordinary courts in Mauritania, there are only 3 women judges out of 300 judges. So the way is long to have parity. It's the reverse in Lebanon.
Parce que, bon, de prime abord, malgré la loi, la constitution dit l'égalité mais dans les faits, elles n'arrivent pas à...
We are still in, the reality is far from what laws and constitution says, and the equality that is enshrined in the constitution is not applied on earth, on the ground.
Donc, pour les femmes, c'est le combat. Le combat n'est jamais arrêté.
We have to fight, to fight.
Merci, thank you.
Terrific.
So, as for myself, I'm the first woman to enter the Constitutional Council till date, and I'm the only one, unfortunately. I would have liked to have other women judges with me in the council. But it's a first step, I think, towards having more women in the future. I hope the future. Why is it important to have women in the council? Because it is perceived as more inclusive, surely, but it is not sufficient yet because it's not representative of the society. When you have 1 out of 10, it's not representative of, it's not enough. Apart from questions of equality and representativity inside the council, it is important also to have women entering the public space. In Lebanon, we are still for the judiciary, we have equality. Even maybe the majority of judges are women now. But in other sectors like the government, the parliament, we have very few women in there. And maybe the presence of women now in high positions will encourage women to enter the public space. And this is very important. As Judge Tanja said, women are, it's important to have the both men and women. This will bring a richer opinions and perspectives into the rulings of the court, especially when it affects some issues related maybe to women, for some issues maybe the difference is not so much between a man and a woman, but for some issues maybe women would be more appropriate, would have a more appropriate view. And I think I will end with this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the last question that we have before we turn questions to the audience is for Judge Al-Masuri, for Judge Khal, and Judge Baidoun. What is one thing about your court, about its structure, its jurisprudence, or its impact that you would like a foreign audience, us, to know? Judge Baidoun?
Okay, like,
Sure.
me?
Sure.
اوكي ثانك يو. المحكمة الدستورية في المغرب تأتي بعد لم تحدث هكذا من السماء، وإنما جاءت بعد تطور تاريخي. الهيئة القضائية الدستورية بداية كانت تسمى الغرفة الدستورية، وكانت غرفة داخل بين الغرف الأخرى داخل المجلس الأعلى. في سنة 92 وهو الإصلاح الدستوري الرابع في المغرب أحدث مجلس دستوري الذي تمتع باستقلال منذ البداية، مجلس دستوري ليس كغرفة دستورية داخل المجلس الأعلى، وإنما مجلس دستوري يتكلف بمراقبة دستورية القوانين. وتعددت صلاحيات هذا المجلس وأحدثت طريقة جديدة بالنسبة لعدد الأعضاء داخل هذه الهيئة القضائية. مع دستور 2011 أحدثت المحكمة الدستورية. المحكمة الدستورية التي أنا أفتخر بالانتماء إليها اليوم هي محكمة مستقلة تضم 12 عضواً يعين، أو طريقة الاختيار فيها تتم بين المؤسسة الملكية الذي يعين 6 أعضاء، وبين البرلمان الذي يعين كل مجلس منه 4 أعضاء، عضوين 6 أعضاء زائد 4 هي 12. ثم هذه المحكمة طريقة العمل داخلها يمكن أن تشهد بسمو هذا الجهاز القضائي. فالمحكمة لها صلاحيات متعددة. أول صلاحية للمحكمة هي أولاً تقوم بالرقابة القبلية، بمعنى أن هذه المحكمة تقوم برقابة دستورية القوانين التنظيمية، وعدد القوانين التنظيمية اليوم في الدستور 19. تقوم برقابة دستورية الأنظمة الداخلية لمجلسي البرلمان وللمجالس المنظمة بواسطة قوانين تنظيمية، كما تقوم بالحسم في الخلاف بين البرلمان والحكومة. أحدثت صلاحية جديدة للمحكمة الدستورية طبقا لدستور 2011 تتمثل في الدفع بعدم دستورية القوانين، وهي صلاحية جديدة صدر قانون تنظيمي جديد بشأنها، وهو القانون التنظيمي 86/15 الذي سيرى النور مستقبلا في هذه الأيام القادمة. وهذا الدفع سيسمح لأي مواطن عادي أن يلج المحكمة الدستورية. بمعنى أقصد هنا بأن المواطن لن يذهب ليطرق في باب المحكمة، وإنما حقوقه أو الحقوق والحريات التي منحها له الدستور وشعر ذلك المواطن وهو أمام نازلة في محكمة من المحاكم أن ذلك القانون الذي سيطبق في نازلته مخالف للدستور، يمكن لذلك المواطن أن يلجأ إلى المحكمة الدستورية لكي تبت في عدم دستورية ذلك القانون. فإذا بتت المحكمة بأن ذلك الدستور أو ذلك القانون الذي كان سيطبق في تلك النازلة غير دستوري، فإنه سيلغى من النمط القانوني بأكمله. بمعنى هذه صلاحية مهمة جدا ستدخل في حيز التطبيق الآن، وهي صلاحية ترفع من مستوى المحكمة الدستورية من جهة تعريفها وقرب المواطن منها من جهة، ومن جهة أخرى في مجال حماية الحقوق والحريات. هذا المجال أو المجال التنظيمي للمحكمة الدستورية، هناك ما يسمى بالجانب الإداري، وجود أمانة عامة، وجود مصالح داخل المحكمة، مصلحة المعلوميات، مصلحة كتابة الضبط، مصلحة التوثيق، مصلحة العلاقات الخارجية، والطريقة التي تشتغل بها المحكمة الآن والتي تجعلها ملزمة بإصدار قراراتها في أجال معينة حددها الدستور، وجميع قراراتها تنشر في الجريدة الرسمية، يجعل بأن هذه المحكمة أصبحت تقترب أكثر فأكثر من رغبات وحاجيات المواطن العادي. فقط لإعطائكم فكرة عن عدد القرارات، الغرفة الدستورية في المغرب التي اشتغلت من سنة 63 إلى غاية سنة 94 أصدرت 821 مقرراً. المجلس الدستوري الذي أحدث في سنة 1994 أصدر لغاية سنة 2017 1043 قراراً. المحكمة الدستورية منذ تنصيبها في 2017 أصدرت لحد اليوم 245 قرار، وآخر قرار شاركنا فيه القاضية لطيفة الخال وأنا وباقي القضاة كان يوم 4 شتنبر قبل قدومنا إلى الولايات المتحدة، كان يوم 4 شتنبر 2024. فقط أريد أن أفتح قوسا بالنسبة لأهم القرارات التي شاركت فيها. قرار يخص مسألة بتت فيها المحكمة الدستورية لأول مرة في تاريخ الهيئة القضائية الدستورية المغربية، وهو قرار يتعلق بتجريد نائب برلماني من مقعده لسبب غيابه لمدة سنة كاملة بدون عذر مقبول. وهذا أول قرار يتخذ من أجل محاربة ظاهرة الغياب داخل البرلمان. تعرفون جميعا بأن ظاهرة الغياب تمس أنظمة سياسية مختلفة. البرلماني يعين أو ينتخب ولكن أحيانا لا يحضر في الجلسات، فظاهرة الغياب لم تكن مقننة بشكل جيد منذ صدور أول دستور المغربي إلى اليوم إلى غاية، وكان هذا قرار تشرفت بكونه أول قرار أشارك، أنا كنت كمقررة فيه، وهو أول قرار لي بعد تعييني في المحكمة الدستورية، قرار يشهد بتجريد نائب برلماني من مقعده لأنه تغيب لمدة سنة كاملة بدون عذر مقبول. شكرا لكم.
So the court in Morocco didn't drop from heaven. It had a sophisticated development. There was a constitutional chamber within the higher court. Then we had an independent constitutional council. Then in 2011 we had a court, which I'm very proud to report on. It has 12 members that are always divided between the royal institution and the parliament. The internal work of the court testifies its prestige. We have a periodic review of laws. We review internal charters of the parliament. And the court settles disagreements between the government and the parliament. Recently, the news competence is judicial review of unconstitutionality. This is new in the sense that now we are allowing citizens, not only political branches, to challenge courts based on any grievances to the right. If the court decided that the law is unconstitutional, the law is struck down. It's currently entering into force, this competence, and this is building a new relationship between the court and the citizens. There are many departments inside the court, and we work by clock. There are certain deadlines that we have to meet. We publish our decisions, and we are moving towards satisfying more of the citizens' aspiration. And evidence of that is that the constitutional chamber, which existed for decades, had 800 decisions. The Constitutional Council had 1,500 decisions. And for us, since 2017 to date, we have 254 decisions. The latest of which I participated in with my colleague one day before we came to the US. One decision that I'm very proud of as part of this work relates to suspension of a member of parliament who was absent for 1 year without excuse. There was no law regulating this issue, so the court had to sit with that.
Thank you so much. Judge Abkhal?
Me.
Well, it's for all three of them. It's for Judge Masoudi, Judge Khal, and Judge Baidoun.
أنا سألخص. نريد أن نعرفكم على اجتهادات المحكمة الدستورية وانفتاحها على القانون الدولي وعلى الاتفاقيات الدولية عن طريق الإحالة على المبادئ المنصوص عليها في الاتفاقيات التي يعتبر المغرب طرفا فيها.
Do you have more? Okay, terrific. Okay, Judge Baidoun.
المحكمة الدستورية الأردنية أنشئت بعام 2012. هي محكمة حديثة نوعا ما، إلا أنه وهي محكمة هيئة قضائية مستقلة قائمة بذاتها، تتكون من 9 أعضاء يعينهم الملك ومن بينهم الرئيس. طبعا يعين لمدة 6 سنوات غير قابلة للتجديد. تختص المحكمة في اختصاصين فقط، وهما الرقابة على دستورية القوانين والأنظمة النافذة وتفسير الدستور. طبعا حق الرقابة على دستورية القوانين والأنظمة من خلال الطعن المباشر من قبل مجلس الوزراء أو مجلس الأعيان والنواب، ومن خلال الدفع بالمحكمة من أثناء النظر في أي دعوة معروضة أمام المحاكم إذا توفرت فيها شروط الجدية والمصلحة. في ذلك الوقت تحال إلى المحكمة الدستورية مباشرة للبت فيها. طبعا أحكام المحكمة الدستورية هي ملزمة للكافة، ومن لحظة صدورها ملزمة لجميع السلطات بصورة عامة. شروط العضوية في المحكمة الدستورية: يجب أن يكون الشخص أردني ولا يحمل جنسية أخرى، لا يقل عمره عن 50 عام. أيضا أنه الشخص القاضي أو العضو المحكمة الدستورية يجب أن يكون من فئات محددة من ضمنهم الأكاديميين الذين يحملون رتبة الأستاذية، أو من الذين خدموا في أعلى المحاكم في محكمة التمييز والمحكمة الإدارية العليا، أو من تنطبق عليهم شروط الأعيان. المحكمة الدستورية أصدرت العديد من القرارات والأحكام تتجاوز أحكامها 100 حكم، بالإضافة إلى القرارات التفسيرية، ولها تأثير واضح في إقرار عدم دستوري أو الحكم بعدم دستورية القوانين. وتم تعديل الكثير من القوانين التي حكمت المحكمة بعدم دستورية نصوصها. شكرا.
So our court was established in 2012.
Yes.
Independent standing court. We have 9 members appointed by the king. We serve numbering total 6 terms. Our competence include only 2 things: judicial review and interpreting the Constitution. Only the different branches or lower courts can bring the case to us. Our decisions are final and binding to every consideration. Membership requirements include legal gaming, not legal non-national. You have to be 50 years or older, and only particular groups can serve the division. So, either academic or senior judge. We have issued many decisions. Now we have more than 100 judgments in addition to interpretations of the constitutions. Several laws have been amended after that.
Terrific, wonderful. We have about 10 minutes for a couple of questions from the audience. And just given the timing for translation, it's probably 2, maybe 3 questions for very short answers. But I welcome you absolutely to ask questions. Okay, I'm just going to take those 3 hands. We've got a student here. I think I just saw you. You're running for SBA, aren't you? See, powerful women. If you could use the microphone, that would be terrific. And then student back there, and then Professor Hughes.
My question is addressed.
Could you introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, of course. I am Jisha. I'm a first year It is an honor to address Your Excellency. My question is, what kind of work do you think, what kind of an activist role the Constitutional Court can take, especially in cases where there is a conflict between religious laws and the constitutional standard of equality? Do you think that there's ground that we can explore to make our societies in general more equal?
أرجم.
ماشي سؤال ترجمة.
أيها القضية النجم، ما هي الطرق التي يمكن من خلالها الحاكم التوفيق بين مبدأ القضية والمساواة والأديان؟
There's one person who would like to answer that question.
She addressed the question to me.
I'm sorry.
It is a bit tricky for me to answer this question because we are not allowed by law to give prior opinion on matters that might be, but I will answer in general to this question. The Lebanese constitution enshrines the principle of equality as a foundation of our parliamentary republican regime. So it's very important. It's one of the foundation of our political system. But at the same time, Lebanon is a diverse society. It's composed of 18 diverse sects between variant sects, Christian sects and Muslim sects, and even Jewish are recognized as a religion. So it's very diverse, and the state in the constitution has given equal rights to all these sects. So Lebanon is maybe the only country in the region that is, the state is neutral vis-à-vis all sects and all religions. But at the same time, whereas it shrines the freedom of conscience and belief, it gives the right to all the sects to apply their own religious statutes in matters of marriage and divorce and, you know, all personal status. So that may create contradictions between the principle of equality and some laws that might not be so, might be discriminatory against women especially. We didn't have, as I can recall, any case until today date related to matters of equality of between women and men. I don't know if in the future we would have to rule to examine a law that would be discriminatory against women, and then I will have surely my opinion about this. I cannot tell you about it, but you can guess, I think.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for being here. My name is Nicholas. My question is to whoever wants to answer is, have you ever decided on a decision that now you think you would go a different way?
اسمي نيكولاس إسرائيلي بعيد شخص حلو فيه. هل سبق وأفكاركم الأيام بعد ما تفكروا فيه تغيروا رأيكم كنتوا تصلحوا نتائج مختلفة؟
بعد إعادة السؤال من فضلك.
Rendu une décision que vous regrettez. Vous avez changé d'avis.
إذا تغير القانون أو تغير الدستور، إذا تغيرت الآلية التي نعتمد عليها.
May I answer this question? As for myself, in Lebanon, we are allowed to have dissenting opinions. So I had several different dissenting opinions. So it's difficult to regret, as you have the chance to express, you know, yourself. In other courts, maybe it would be different because you would have to come to a compromise if you are not allowed to a dissenting opinion. So it's different. The two systems are different.
C'est la même chose. En Mauritanie, bon, on ne regrette pas parce que c'est collégial. On donne nos opinions et après la décision, elle est prise. Donc,
Judge Tande says that they cannot regret because it is a collective judgment, a decision that is issued by their council, and it is the result of, discussions, and they.
Yeah, so that's very
They
interesting,
reach-
right?
they reach,
Because one has a collective judgment, and so it's difficult to regret. The other has the ability to dissent, and so it's difficult to regret. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Thank you for the question. Professor Hughes. Yeah, sure. I'll repeat.
I think this has been fascinating. I wonder if one or two of you would estimate the time it might take in your courts to have another woman or two more women, and what you think can be done to make that happen faster.
I'll just repeat quickly for remote audiences, and then you can translate. The question was, how long do you think it might be until there are more women on your courts, and what, if anything, can you do to help to have that happen.
Qu'est-ce que vous allez faire?
Judge Baitoun.
شكرا على السؤال. أنا بتوقع يعني الوقت ممكن يكون أسبوعين، لأنه عندنا تشكيل لرئيس المحكمة ولا نائب الرئيس، فما في أي موانع أنه يكون في قاضية جديدة في المحكمة خلال أسبوعين. In 2 weeks. Yes. Wow. Yes. Why not?
There's a reshuffle of the court. The next 2 weeks, so she expects it to work.
في المغرب التغيير يتم كل 3 سنوات،
Every 3 years we change.
ونتمنى ال3 سنوات المقبلة أن تكون من بين الأعضاء سيدة.
They had, in fact, a new judge woman, who is with us.
We are
One
we
year
already
ago.
2 judges.
Last
Two
year
members,
we
yeah.
had one from Morocco, and this year there are 2.
Terrific. That is the end of the questions. I know Professor Williams would like to make a couple of closing remarks. Before she has the opportunity to do that, I also just want to say just how honored I am by your presence, by your thoughtfulness, by your sharing with all of us. I feel tremendously enriched. I know our students do too, and my colleagues as well. You are welcome here. Absolutely, anytime. We hope you will come back next year, and please bring your colleagues.
Thank you so much.
I also just wanted to thank our distinguished guests. I wanted to thank our heroic translators, both official and unofficial. Thank you so much. And I wanted to thank our dean for her wonderful job moderating. But really, I wanted to say I was sitting there looking at the front of this room, and it occurred to me that this may be the first time ever that 6 women who sit on the highest courts of their country were seated in a law school courtroom in front of the portraits of 6 women judges who are graduates of that law school, with a woman dean asking the questions in a courtroom that is named for 2 women graduates of this school. Wow. So I am thrilled to have lived to see this. Thank you.